Welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Monday, October the 21st, 2024. I am Reverend Dr. Darrell Watkins, the senior minister here at Sunshine Cathedral. With me today is Sunshine Cathedral's executive minister. He's also my husband, the Reverend Dr. Robert Griffin, Sunshine Cathedral's Minister of Connections, Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell, and Sunshine Cathedral's Minister of Education, Reverend Kevin Tisdall. Visit sunshinecathedral.org to learn more about our progressive faith community and how you can be part of it no matter where you live in the world. And if you live in South Florida, be sure to check out Sunshine Cathedral's Center for the Performing Arts, offering entertainment for the LGBTQ+ community to benefit the LGBTQ+ community. If you enjoyed the Queer God Squad, please share this or other episodes with your friends, family, and social media communities. At Sunshine Cathedral, we want you to know that you are God's miracle, not God's mistake.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral Perspective. Karine Jean-Pierre becomes President Biden's fourth LGBTQ senior advisor. Following White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre promotion to a top role, 4 of the 10 officials serving as the senior advisors to President Joe Biden are openly LGBTQ. Karine Jean-Pierre holds a Master of Public Administration degree from Ivy League Columbia University, where she also lectures. She has worked for at least 4 presidential campaigns and served as Kamala Harris's chief of staff when she was the vice presidential candidate in 2020. She has been the administration's deputy press secretary and press secretary, and now is a senior advisor to the president as well. As a matter of interest, the Biden administration is the most diverse in U.S. history. Critics accuse the president of, quote, diversity hiring, end quote, which implies people are chosen for race, ethnicity, gender, or sexual orientation rather than for qualifications. But others say such criticisms sound bigoted. Making sure qualified candidates beyond white, straight men are not overlooked isn't diversity hiring so much as it is intentionally avoiding prejudice hiring. The Queer God Squad thinks diversity is a good thing and seeing broad representation in the government is healthy. What say y'all? Well, what I got to say about that is this diversity hiring thing, if that's the worst thing the President Joe Biden can be accused of, then let it be so. But I also know that qualifications goes with it. A lot of it goes with it, not just in the president's administration, but in any field in the world. I think that's what it's about. But I think as we look at people who are hired in any presidential administration, I think a diverse representation of the people should always be present. Because if your administration is not reflective of the society, then you have a potential of losing out on voices and hear from other people around the table. And this is an opportunity to invite more voices to the table, an opportunity to hear more diverse opinion about things that are happening in different communities. And I think kudos to President Biden for doing this. Kudos to her for her journey. I mean, Ivy League Columbia, hello.
Yeah, pretty nice.
And she also lectures, she also gives back to the community as well. And so I think this is just not a one-way street, it's a two-way street because she's been elevated, she's been recognized, and now she's also giving back. And so it's not just about the LGBTQ part of it for me, but it's also about people who deserve these opportunities are the ones who are best placed for them, and they can make the most difference for those who don't have a voice.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, look at her resume. You know, that she has served in 4 presidential campaigns, that she was the vice presidential candidate's chief of staff, that she has been the deputy press secretary, and now the press secretary, and now the press secretary and top advisor to the president. That she's been an instructor at Columbia University, that she has a master's degree from Columbia University. This is a resume.
Yeah.
This is a resume. And so I'm always annoyed when people assume, why do you not think that this resume is what got hired?
Yeah.
Now, who's holding the resume? It's a woman, it's a queer person, it's a person in a wheelchair, it's a Latino, whatever. But it's the resume. Now, we tend to know who we know. And so if I went to Harvard, then I'm looking at Harvard. Harvard on the resume.
Yeah.
Well, probably a lot more people who are white go to Harvard than not because of money. Now, because of scholarships and whatnot, that's no longer true or whatever, but you know, the 10 rich white guys that run everything, they're the ones who could send their kids to Harvard back in the day. And so, yeah, things qualified, intelligent people got just locked out because they didn't know folks. And they weren't looking for anyone who went to DeVry or who had an apprenticeship and learned at, OJT, or they weren't looking at those. So when you're looking at the resume, and then you look up and you see all kinds of people on resume, well then you say, okay, let me just not all hire all white guys. Since all of these resumes are good, let me make sure that I'm just not hiring people who look or act or feel or think like me. So to diminish that as, oh, you just want people of color, or you just want women, that is diminishing and that is unfair. And the anger behind that is, yes, now you have to compete in a wider field.
Yes.
Instead of just competing against other rich white guys, now you got to compete with women, people from the middle class, people who came up from the lower classes, people who have ability issues, ability challenges. Yeah, you have to compete now because you were looking at the resume first before we look at the face. This woman has a resume, and what I love about her more than her resume is that she can run a press conference.
Yes.
She will, you have one time to say something stupid, and then you get fact checked, you get corrected, you might get spanked a little bit. She will just tell the people from the tabloid news, she'll just tell them, you know that's ridiculous, you sound like an idiot, you sound like a crazy person, none of that is true. She will just talk that way to them. Suffers fools not at all, and just takes control. And it's a shame she has to do that. It's a shame she has to take control of an elementary classroom that's supposed to be the press pool. But she will. What I love about her is that she can handle business.
Right. The people who are pushing back on her are those of privilege. White men who've always had that privilege. And our presidential candidate is going through something very similar. They're basically saying that the only reason that she got this job is because she is a woman or whatever else. These people have resumes, incredible resumes. I mean, I wish I had that kind of education. I truly do not. But kudos to her. Kudos to President Biden for looking beyond the rich white men and the people who can really do the job.
Yeah, because Vice President Harris's opponent has had actually three now, campaigns to show, and has chosen the old white guy. Well, now the young white guy, but has chosen the white guy, the straight white guy every time. So always saying, oh, value diversity, I'm the least prejudiced person, blah, blah, blah. But when it came to it, who does he get?
Action speaks.
A younger version of himself is what he got.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't say enough for President Joe Biden. My gosh. I remember watching him run for president in 1988. And he came across as a little gruff, as a little middle class, kind of that kind of guy. Yay!
Yeah.
Who knew that was exactly what we needed in the White House at this moment? So kudos to President Biden. And then, in order to get a better idea of where one should go, you need to hear as many voices as possible. If you keep hearing the same voices time and time again, you're going to constantly making the same kinds of decisions that may be good, but may not be the best. So if you can get a queer gal, if you can get a disabled guy, if you can get a person whose parents were steam fitters, then you're going to get a lot of different voices and really more of America than you have ever gotten from any president. Policy positions. The president has stated his policies. The guy running against him hasn't stated a single policy. Something's in progress. Something is being thought of.
A concept.
A concept. That when I heard him say that, I was like, you've had 9 years. 10 years now to come up with an idea on how you can make the Affordable Health Care Act something better. You have no ideas whatsoever. And I love it that there are places in America that are beginning to move schools, storied institutions, away from legacy enrollment. California now says that no, you can't bring somebody into the school simply because their great-great-granddad went to this school. They have to qualify like everybody else. And again, it goes back to what we're talking about, leveling the playing field. All of a sudden, you don't have that privilege that you had. Now you've got to be in there and prove yourself like all the rest of us have had to do for
And
all of our
we can name
lives.
names of average students that got into the upper tier things
gosh, yeah.
because of their name.
Right.
Yes,
the legacy.
absolutely. A couple of them were presidents of
I'm
the United
saying.
States of America.
Imagine that.
A good D student became president of the United States because his daddy went somewhere.
I'm saying somebody who basically flunked out of Fordham suddenly is at Wharton.
Yeah, come on.
And then at least one of those professors saying, hey, dumbest student I ever had.
I know.
So why is there a piece of paper on the wall? Because
Yeah.
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 So allegedly,
Yeah.
I know. But what it was President Biden. Just by the way, I mean, I'm talking about Karine and Kamala, but President Biden was also the one who appointed the very first Secretary of the Interior to be a Native American. A Native American to be Secretary of the Interior, y'all. Secretary of the Interior. And we've had one Native American to be Secretary of the Interior.
Yeah.
And that was because of Joe Biden.
He is destined to be called one of the greatest.
Yep.
Well, that's today with the Queer God Squad. We want to thank you for joining us. We're here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ community is talking about.
Sunshine Cathedral is the world's largest progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together.
We all are in this together. Remember that. You are God's miracle, not God's mistake.
Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad. Goodbye.